Hey everybody, today is Monday. It means that we're considering the cryptocurrencies. So Sive is here with the ForexPeaceArmy.com. Let's have a look what is going on Bitcoin. So in general, according to our fundamental view that we have discussed in our reports regularly in recent 3 months, we paid a lot of attention to Clarity Act. We said that it might be turning point, and right in May that it started moving from the dead point. Something starts going on, and it seems they hurry up with the adoption of the Clarity Act, and that makes immediate impact on the performance of the cryptocurrencies. So you can see what's going on in Bitcoin. So it's very important. You could see how they will use this Clarity Act, what they actually intend to do with it. If you read our report, actually has been released 2 weeks ago already, but it's still valid, and it's still modern because the overall situations just start moving, and actually also things still stands ahead. So we just, in 2 words speaking, we suggest that Bitcoin just will become another bubble where the big funds from the new money printing will be sent, because stock market already is losing capacity. It can't actually absorb a lot of more money supply. That's why the emerging stock markets already also overfilled with the liquidity. It also has reached extreme high levels, and they will start searching something else. It might be commodities and of course the cryptos. That's why we think that Bitcoin will rise in long-term perspective significantly. So that in 2 words what we have. Speaking about the short-term situation, based on the technical picture at least, last time we talked about the possible retracement. So market has come to really, or stands near strong resistance. Maybe it could flirt around it, but we suggest that since this very strong momentum, adoption of the Clarity Act hasn't happened yet, maybe it will be some really problems with that, because you do not know how it will pass the Senate, and it might be some unexpected moments. From the technical point of view, chances on a pullback here are significant. It's just how market usually works. So momentum is big, it should fade it before starting the big rally. So that's what actually we are watching for. The depth of the momentum might be different. So normally it might be 50% 618, which is typical when the market is trying to fade the big momentum. But sometimes it could even retest the lows and show even deeper retracement. So for example, on the daily chart, as you know, I still keep on the table this OP target, which might be reached, because I already explained many times that this is not a reversal type of action. This is classical regardless triple to buy ABC retracement shape, the same as here. Now the big question stands what's going on around it right here. So on the daily chart, we see that we have a lot of bullish grabbers that have been formed. The target of these patterns stands right above the previous top. So I will just increase its scale a bit so you see it a bit better. So the minimum target of all of these patterns stands above this area. So it means that market should show kind of the wash and rinse and finally test the resistance area. So complete the overall action, trying to challenge it. At the same time, you could see that today we see the backward action. So it's forming some kind of the bearish engulfing pattern, although the day is just started. Maybe something will change by the end of it. It might be possible that if market will return back up, we could get another grabber. But for now, you can see it's moving lower. So from that standpoint of view, here we have the setup only for the bulls, because to consider something for the bears, you have to get the bearish context. You have to see that trend turns bearish. You have to destroy that these all bullish patterns will be destroyed. So to consider taking short, we probably need to wait a bit more evident downward action first and appearing of some patterns on the top. But today it seems that it's more probable, at least based on the grabbers, and if even not more probable but more reliable, if we will get something like this, because grabbers here suggest taking out of this top. And in current circumstances, appearing of the butterfly, it seems very probable, logical. The attractiveness of this situation stands so that you could place your stops just below the A. Because if market will break the A point, all the bullish grabbers will be destroyed. So short-term bullish context will be lost, And in this case, we indeed could get some deeper downside, starting with the downside reaction. But until A point holds, bullish context remains. Besides, here on the 4-time frame chart, you also could keep an eye on what's happening here. You can see market is flirting with the MACD, and within the few hours, we could get another grabber here. So here, the bullish grabber also might be formed. It suggests upward action. So all this combination creates not bad background for possible long entry, although risk probably not very small, but from the cash point of view, cash risk, it's acceptable because risk in cash, it will be very small. So it's very close to invalidation point. So theoretically, this butterfly might be considered. On the hourly chart, we also see some bullish signs. In fact, what we have, if you remember, last time we discussed the nested doll possible head and shoulders patterns and suggested that market should start moving from one to another if downside reaction already started. But you could see what has happened. Our first head and shoulders that we discussed last time worked perfect, and we even have got great acceleration here right to the OP, which theoretically should lead market to the 1618, right to the neckline of the bigger pattern. But you could see what has happened. Market not just shown some pullback, but it has moved above the top of the right arm of the minor pattern. It means that minor pattern doesn't exist anymore, and this is definitely not the bearish type of the performance. So in fact, we have uncompleted big head and shoulders, and this pattern already has been erased. Market totally erased the previous drop, returning back to above the top of the right arm. It also looks bullish. So here we have some volatility, but market stands at the 618 support. That makes us to conclusion that actually in two ways. So first, for the bulls, it might be one of the best points to make a decision. Yes, as I said, risks exist that market just could move lower, but that's in fact the last point where bulls could and should hold the situation in their hands. If markets start dropping below this level, moving close to the lows, bulls will start losing control over the situation, which means that we could get deeper downside retracement. While market stands here, bulls control the situation, so they have to turn the market in opposite direction right from here. Otherwise, the control will pass to the bears. That's why in the current situation, at this point, we consider only bullish positions if you would like to. For the bears, we do not see currently a proper context, so we need to wait for more bearish signs. Particularly speaking, as I said, probably erasing of the bullish context, so erasing of the grabbers that we have on the daily chart here, drop below those lows, erasing potential butterfly, which suggests possible downside continuation. Maybe if you're an aggressive trader, you could think about using stop sell-on orders, as market will start coming closer to this area. So it might be another option that you could use. Or just, in the case of the breakout, just wait for a bounce to consider taking the short position. Currently, it would be better to deal with the just very short-term trades, just because the situation is changing rapidly day by day, and actually lots of situations that we can't control. A lot of events might happen. Just Donald Trump tweets could actually turn everything from top to bottom. It's better to take fast profit, fast trades, and wait for another one. So that's what we have currently on the cryptocurrencies. Just let's keep watching. Situation will be more interesting as soon as we're coming closer to the adoption of the Clarity.